the first thing I need to do, I have got fields to plant. So I'm just taking a shortcut over here because I don't actually need my tractor for this. I'm going to hire a new tractor, big tractor. So anyone who's into Farming Simulator, I'll show you where we are. So as I say, it's a Greenwich Valley map, and I have currently got, and this will be coming up on future proper edited videos at some point on this channel, but I've got a massive backlog of Farming Sim vids to edit. So if the videos that you're probably watching on the Andy Matt Drums channel of Farming Sim are of the Ravenport map, which I've got a whole series to get finished off on that. And then there'll be this new series starting off on Greenwich Valley, so you're kind of getting a massive sneak peek miles in the future on the Greenwich Valley map, and you'll see how we kind of got to this state, basically. But the whole idea, me and my son set up a bit of a challenge that would start with, I think, 0 money, and would see how quickly we can get to £1 million. And he kind of got bored with that, and he's gone off playing Armour 3 or something like that. And he might come back to it at some point. He's got some fields down the bottom there with horses that are probably dead. And these are the fields I've got. So I've got one big grass field, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 crop fields at the minute. And I've just done quite a big soybean harvest, but the price of soybeans at the minute is rubbish. So I can't sell them, and they're all sitting in my silo. Luckily you can drive through hedges on this. So my silo's over here, and that silo at the minute is full of soybeans. Why did I dismantle my workshop? I'm moving. We're moving house, but everything's currently on hold because of the lockdown. So I've now got a fully dismantled workshop which is sitting in a storage unit that I can't physically get to because of the lockdown, and it's all cleared out and ready to move. But obviously with what's going on, we're everything's on hold. So yeah, so honestly you couldn't make it up. Anyway, so I've got loads and loads of stuff I need to get on with anyway, kind of behind the scenes website stuff and all that sort of thing. So there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, but it does mean I'm a bit thin on the ground on video content at the minute. I've got a couple of videos I want to get done while I'm still in the new build, while we're still here. But once we get moved, obviously there'll be the renovation project, and that's the big thing. So yeah, cheers, Mark. Who else have we got on here? Pure DIY Maintenance. Hiya, good to hear from you too. Cliff, have you named your tractor? I haven't named my tractor yet. I've got quite a collection of tractors. I've got, obviously I've got the Case, which is this one here. It's kind of a bit of a workhorse. The only trouble is it doesn't have a front loader attachment on it, so I can't really do much with that, front loader wise. And then I've got my little Ford over here. Check out this. So it's a little Ford, what is it, 6810 tractor. There you go. This is, it's dead cheap in the game, and it's good just for kind of getting around. But it's not very powerful, so you can't use it for very much. But it's a nice little tractor. So anyway, I need to head up to the shop and need to hire a great big planter to plant some fields. So we'll get that done. Renovation project. Basically, the plan is that I've done a lot of renovations over the years. This is the first time we've ever lived in a new build, and we've been here for like 7 years or something now, which is the longest we've ever lived in a property. Normally, we tend to move somewhere and then do it up and say we're going to live there forever, and then as soon as we get it finished, it's like, should we just put it on the market and see what happens? And we've done that a lot over the years. And yeah, so I'm itching to do another renovation project. We've got our eye on a property, and hopefully that will go through, but I don't want to jinx it. But we can't do anything until this lockdown's lifted. Well, I'm saying that we can. It's just everything's ground to a halt. It's taking forever for anything to actually happen. Right, let's go to the shop and hire some kit. So I need a great big planter for this. I'm going to use... Where is it? Cedars. I'm going to use this great big horse thing here. 9 meters wide. Unfortunately, it's my tractor's not powerful enough to pull that. It needs a 270 horsepower tractor, and my tractor's about 240 horse. So I'm going to have to hire a tractor to go with it, which is fine. So we'll just lease. I'm going to lease that for now because I haven't got very much money. And I need to lease a more powerful tractor. We're going to go for just this case. So that's 288 horse. I might as well upgrade the engine and get 313. So I'm going to lease that. Yes, please. And I need seed and fertilizer. So, but what am I doing? Seed. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a big pallet of seeds. That'll do. One of them should be enough. So I'm going to head over to the shop now. I can just tab to the shop. Oops. I'll just switch that off. Switch that off. Where am I? Right. So this is me at the shop, and so there's all the fertilizer and the pallet of seed and my giant tractor and seeder there. So if you give us a second, what I'll do, I'll get this all kind of hooked up and I'll set it away on a field, and then I can catch up on comments and whatnot as well. I'm genuinely amazed that this is working, to be honest. Are the rumours true about Farming Simulator podcast with interviews from online farmers? No? Is that a real thing? But there's a really good podcast called Off the Husk, which is Millennial Farmers podcast. It's not about Farming Simulator, it's real life farming, but they've got a really good podcast if you're vaguely into farming. I mean, I know nothing about farming. I just find it quite relaxing playing this game. Let me just fill this up with fertilizer. But yeah, Off the Husk podcast. Have a listen to that. It's quite entertaining. But that, as I say, that's a real life farm in Minnesota or something, I think. Millennial Farmers, a brilliant channel worth checking out. Oh, I'm full. Right. Okay, right, that should do. Let's head off. So, how are you folks surviving the lockdown? Any... I mean, are people still working, or are you having to stay at home? Let us know how the lockdown's going, because obviously we've got the kids off school, which has been nice, and they're homeschooling, and they're enjoying it, really. They're not getting any time off. Well, obviously they've just had the Easter holidays here, so the 2-week Easter break is literally just coming to an end, and then from next week we'll be back to full-on homeschooling, which Mrs. Mack is doing a grand job of the lion's share of that. And as I say, I've been putting out quite a few videos on like the Small Business Toolbox channel and whatnot, and obviously the odd farming sim vid, but I've got a couple more videos I want to get done on Gosforth Handyman before we move, but there's no sign of anything happening. Let me just head onto this field. What crop should we plant? The options are, right, you guys can help me decide on a, you guys can help me decide on a crop. We've got wheat, barley, oat, canola, soybeans, oilseed radish. We're not going to do that because it's not a crop that you harvest. It's like a, oh, there's a name for it. It's like a fertilising crop type thing. And grass, I'm not planting grass because I've already got a big grass field. So, any preference? I've already got soybean in the silo, so I'm probably not going to do soybean. My temptation is oat, because oat is quite profitable, and then you can collect the bales afterwards. Let me just... who have we got on then? Let me just... I've got OBS's up at the minute, and I can't actually see my chat window. Let me just sort that out. Hopefully this doesn't cause a problem. We've got one vote for canola. Money trees. Yeah, that would be nice. Let's unfold this plant there. Let's see what we're saying on here. Good luck with the move when it happens. Thank you very much, Mark. Renovation project. Yeah, I can't wait to get started on the renovation. I'm absolutely just ready to go with that. The frustrating thing is that there's so much. Had we been moved, there's so much of the renovation I could be getting on with in lockdown, because it's just ripping out, you know. But there's not a lot of buying of stuff until the whole place is just ripped to shreds. But at the minute, nothing's happening at the moment. So, right. Despite the vote of canola from a family member, I'm gonna. Did I say oat or did I say canola? Despite the vote of canola, I'm gonna go for oat. Let's just get going on this, and I'll come back to you. Switch this on. I'm not very good at doing two things at the same time, so I can't read the comments and play the game. Let me just do a quick kind of circuit of the field. That's called a headland. I'll do a quick circuit and then I can set helper away. If you are wanting to play Farming Simulator, by the way, I do highly recommend getting a steering wheel of some description. My wheel, it's really old. It's like a Logitech Driving Force Pro, and I've had it for years and years, and it cost, I can't remember how much it cost. It was probably quite expensive. Now you can pick them up off eBay for about 20 quid. The only trouble is it's a bit noisy. You can probably hear my steering wheel. But if you did want to get into Farming Sim, I strongly recommend getting a steering wheel and pedals. Trying to control this equipment using the keyboard and mouse, it's a nightmare. Right, just done a quick circuit and then I'll set the helper away. Right, helper going, hands free, check it out. Right, damn, you blew my cover. Has your work ground to a halt? Well, things had already kind of ground to a halt because I'm doing YouTube pretty much all the time now. That obviously the whole plan was to get this renovation project started. But yeah, so the joinery business was already kind of, well, the company itself is completely shut down. What I could potentially do, worst case, is switch over to doing it as a sole trader if I desperately needed to get things back up and running quickly. I'm hoping it doesn't come to that, because I've got a lot going on behind the scenes on YouTube and other things at the minute, which is taking up all of my time. So, and especially once we do get started on the renovation, if and when that ever happens, because I've been talking about this for probably 6 months now. But once I get going on that, that'll be full time. I won't have time to do anything other than that and do the filming as well. So yeah. What else have we got? James's Man Cave. Hiya, James. Andy, are the rumours true? Oh, it was you who asked about the podcast. Sorry, James. Are you playing this on PC or Xbox, Nigel? I'm playing on PC. What else have we got? Nigel said barley sounds good. Sorry, Nigel. There's a bit of a delay on this, so by the time I actually see your comment, I've probably already started doing something. But never mind. Lockdown has us all going so crazy that we're either hosting or watching farming simulator stuff on YouTube. It's a strange world, that's all I can say. I didn't envisage live streaming farming simulators while being physically locked in our house. I must admit, I didn't call that one. It's to the point where if you didn't laugh, you'd cry. You couldn't make it up. I hope you are all doing well though, and you're staying safe, and that if things are, I know a lot of people who follow the Gosforth Handyman channel who are self-employed and you run your own businesses, and there's an awful lot of stuff where I know of a lot of businesses who have literally just ground to a halt. You can't do anything, and it's difficult. I mean, they'll have to start phasing out of the lockdown, and I think everything's going to be hinging on the whole testing thing and the antibody test and all that. I think that'll be absolutely key. How they're going to work out the logistics for that, I have literally no idea. Anyway, right, so I'm going to leave him going, planting this field at the minute. Let me just... I'm watching my own live stream on my mobile phone to check it's working. That's probably a really inefficient way of working. My son's asking if he can join the game. Yeah, go for it. Go for it, farmer's son. I'm on International 2. Right, anyway, right, leave him going. Head over to... The problem is, I've got all these bales of silage that I need to sell. This is worth, like, a lot of money. If I go on the other tractor and... Well, that'll do. So, can you see all those silage bales there? They're worth about, in the game, about £1,600 each per bale. So... I'm waiting on the price to go up, and unfortunately at the minute the price of silage bales is pretty poor. It's at 308 and going down. So I could fast forward time and wait for the price to go up. That's probably not a good idea while I'm planting a field, because you end up with all sorts of weird things where, because you fast forwarded time while you're planting the field, you end up with the crop growing like really unevenly, so I'm not going to do that. We'll just kind of get this field planted. I'm assuming the stream's all working okay. It's looking good. We've got 20 people on, 20 concurrent viewers. That's awesome. Good day to you all. I hope you're well. What other comments have we got here? Pure DIY maintenance. Most of the time at home, but doing a lot in the house and recording my podcast. Did I know you had a podcast? I didn't know. What's the name of your podcast? I shall have a listen to that, because I often have a listen to podcasts while I'm doing a spot of farming, on Farming Simulator, that I find, because I'm a bit of a night owl, and if I go to bed too early, I just can't get to sleep. So what I tend to do is I'll go on this quite late at night and just do it as a bit of a wind down for the evening, and then I'll sleep like a baby after I've just been farming, doing a bit of combining for a couple of hours. And often while I'm doing that, I'm just listening to podcasts or catching up on some YouTube videos or whatever. Game sound has gone off. Oh no! Can you hear what I'm saying? Have you got my audio? Okay, back on. Oh, hopefully it's alright. My son's talking about connecting up to this game. I'm not sure if he's going to or not. If he does, then we're going to get a temporary synchronization delay when he hooks up. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. We shall see. Cliff says the game sound is all fine. Cool. Right. So, I've got this field done, or the helper's finished doing this field, so I can boot the helper out. Fold this up. Actually, terrible. But if it's left a little patch like that, it just really annoys me. I've got to go over it. I can't leave it. Right, done. Let's just check this field. Check we've not missed any spots. Oh, a little bit here. No, that field straight ahead, that's not my field, so I can't do that field there. But I can do the field next to it. So. Yeah, I know. OCD. Tell us about it. Right, let's head up to one of these slightly bigger fields. Now, I own this field on the left here, but I've got a much bigger field all the way up here. We'll go to that one. I have to say, this Greenwich Valley map is just amazing. It's so ridiculously English. Let's head in here. Unfold it. I'll set this away and I'll give you a quick tour of the little entirely made up village that I'm in. Is there any real life farmers watching this? I'd love to know. Honestly, I've always loved gardening, and a spot of, I love working outdoors when it's not chucking it down, which is rare. Although, you know what it is, we haven't had any rain in the northeast here for about, I can't remember, about at least 3 weeks I would have said. I can't remember when it last rained up here. It's been so dry. I do like getting out in the garden, but there's nothing to do in my own garden at the minute before we move, so there's just nothing that we can get on with. If we end up getting the property that we've got our eye on, then there's going to be some fairly serious tree felling to do. Probably too much to do it myself. I'll probably have to get someone in, but geez, there's going to be I don't know. I'm not going to jinx it, because honestly it's 50-50. It's so it really all could fall through. And the trouble is, if this sale falls through for our house, we're back to square one. And obviously we can't do viewings while we're in lockdown. No one's going to buy a house without looking at it. Well, we would, to be fair, but most normal people wouldn't buy a house without looking at it. And so it really is 50-50. So I'm trying not to jinx it, because the property that we've got in mind would just be, oh man, yeah, I can't stop thinking about it. I need to stop talking about it. I'm just gonna, I've done a little headland on this field, and then I'll set helper away again, catch up on comments from you lovely people. Just literally starting in the middle of the field. What we got? So pure DIY maintenance, talking about podcast, saying it's something new I'm just doing to final edits, but it's called Matt's Talk Show. Oh, fantastic. Well, I'll keep an eye out for that. Matt's Talk Show. Brilliant. Do it. Get it out there. Don't be a complete fanny with it like me. Otherwise you'll spend more time editing it than actually doing the podcast. I think... oh, don't drive through that hedge. You'll get stuck. I think Pat Flynn did... if you're familiar with Pat Flynn, he's done some great shows all about creating podcasts and stuff, and I think when he first started out, he spent a lot of time doing the editing, and then realised that it really, like, no one cared. As long as it's like audible and vaguely decent quality, then yeah, just get it out there. But I would be exactly the same. You when it's your kind of baby, you do want to get it as perfect as possible. Do I have any spare stickers? They're all through the shop. If you do it through... the trouble is, at the minute, because of the lockdown, getting to the post office is a bit tricky. But the best bet is if you do it at the shop, then it just kind of automatically puts your address through and all that sort of thing. Paul has got an allotment. I'm jealous. They were supposed to be building allotments in this new build housing estate, and they've never materialised. I did put my name down, but realistically, with the way things are, I wouldn't have time anyway. I don't know what crazy world I think I've got time to run an allotment, but I like the idea of it. How's the yucca? Is it starting to flower again? Oh, that is the cordyline, the big cordyline plant that was flowering last year. It's getting ridiculously tall. It was only supposed to get to 2 meters, and it's well past 2 meters tall. I don't think it's there's no sign of it flowering again. I don't know if it flowers every year. If you go on my Instagram, you'll see the pictures of when it flowered last year. It looked magnificent and slightly ridiculous. Who else have we got? We've got Malcolm. Been raining in the south today. It's bone dry up here. Been bone dry for weeks, to the point that I've had to be out every day watering the plants, because the plants are all growing now in the garden, and they're dying from lack of water. Cliff, pretend farmer, more of a backhoe user and seriously oversized mower. No cab on the vehicle because I don't go out in bad weather. I gather you're talking about a real mower, or is that on Farming Sim, Cliff? Let me know. Right, this seems to be going fine. Oh, I wish the price of silage would go up, and then I could actually make some money. I've got enough money in the bank. I've got 71,000 in the bank at the minute, which is enough to get me by for a few more harvests before things start to get a little bit tricky. Because it'll cost about 15 grand to hire the harvester. It's just how much did it cost me to hire this stuff? I can't remember. It's probably cost us about 15 grand to hire this seeder and the tractor. So if you're looking at 30 grand of hire costs, plus fertiliser, plus seed, plus lime that you periodically have to do, that 70 grand's going to run out pretty quickly if I can't actually sell my crops. As I say, I've got soybeans to sell. 1680. You know what it is? I think I might sell these. 1686 isn't bad. It's not terrible. I might get these soybeans sold that are in the silo, and then I'm at least going to have some money. Let's do that. I'm going to sell some soybeans. Please fill up. I do have soybeans, haven't I? I haven't sold them. I've got 95,000 litres. Yeah. Go. Right, where am I selling these? I am selling these at Turbine Grain. I think that's the one next to the shop, isn't it? Turbine Grain is next to the shop, yeah. Right, let's go for it. I'm going to take a ridiculous shortcut. Actually, no, I'll not take a shortcut, and I'll show you. Fence. You can drive through hedges, but you can't drive through fences, unfortunately. Take you through the village. We've got a post office there on the right. Got a little park, look. Little stream. And right here. We've got a spa. Look at that. Boots. There's boots. Look. It's so English. There's a skip in the middle of the road. I think it's this way. Could have just taken a shortcut through those fields, but we'll play it properly and we'll actually drive along the roads. And by the way, yes, of course the tractors have indicators on. There we go. I'm going to indicate here. awkward little turning this, but this fancy trailer has 4-wheel steering on it, so it's pretty good on sharp corners. Turbine grain, here we go. Let's make some cash. Oh, left my indicator on. Switch that off. Where is it? I'm stuck in a tree. There we go. Make some money. The town seems on lockdown as well. Yeah, it does seem it. Depends on the time of day. Mind you, it's lunchtime in Farming Simulator land at the minute, so it should be quite busy. There we go, 52 grand there, that's not too bad. I'll just drive back. I'm just gonna peg it through the fields on the way back, because it's much quicker if I just take a shortcut through a hedge. A little bit cheaty, but is the game volume okay by the... This is... Oh, sorry, Thomas has just asked what map is it? It is Greenwich Valley map. It's a awesome map. It's a mod, but you can... It's easy enough to install. I've started playing on Sandy Bay as well, which is another fantastic brand new map which is worth checking out. It's kind of set in a fake where it's like on the White Cliffs of Dover. Beautiful map, really amazingly done. Considering the people who make the modded maps, I'm assuming they don't make any money from it or anything. I don't know. They just do it for the fun of it. I'd love to do a Northumberland map at some point, but I have no idea in my acres of spare time. Virtual Crash, hey Farmer Mac! Hey buddy, how are you doing? Yeah, the only thing I found, me and my son started playing on the Sandy Bay map, and I started doing a bit of landscaping, and I ran into some fairly major problems where certain areas, like I placed a silo and it completely knackered up the landscape, and then I removed the silo and then it won't let me fix the landscape, so I've kind of destroyed my map, which is a little bit annoying. But I think it's just a bug, and hopefully they'll fix it at some point. Because I started on the Sandy Bay map. I'm not filming the Sandy Bay one at the minute, because I'm just having a bit of a play around on it. But I did loads of work on it, and as I say, I made loads of money and bought a silo, put the silo, like leveled out a field, put the silo in the field. It basically unleveled the land, well it didn't unlevel it, but it placed the silo at a really weird height, and then I removed the silo, and it's left the field like that, and I can't fix it. It's very first world problems, I guess. Let's head down here. Another batch of soybeans sold. I find soybeans to be one of the most profitable crops for relatively little effort, but I do find grass silage is by far the most profitable crop I've found so far, where you bale up you mow the grass, you windrower it, you bale it, and you wrap it in plastic, and then you sell the silage bales, and I've found that to be the most profitable thing to do in the game so far without buying ridiculously expensive equipment. The second most profitable crop I found is oat, because you can sell the straw bales if you harvest it and sell the oats, and then you go around and bale up all the straw and you sell the bales of straw, then I found that probably the most profitable crop I found so far. But it's a bit of a fanny on. Soybeans, you just harvest it and sell it. There's not much to it, so it's a lot less effort, but you don't make quite as much money. I've got a video coming out on profit analysis of Farming Simulator. So sad. Right, one more batch of soybeans to sell. What time is it? I'm probably only going to do this for an hour. I did promise the family I wouldn't desert them in the middle of the day. We need to go out for our daily lockdown walk, get some fresh air. Is anyone else finding they're just piling the beef on while they're in lockdown? Jeez, honestly. I'm not conscious of eating more or doing less, but my weight is. Let's grab that. Virtual Crush. Also for getting the good maps to go into the mod content competition. I didn't know that. I was wondering how they make money out of it, because some of the maps are, God, they must take months to make. I mean, this map alone, it is a kind of fictitious English countryside, but it's so, as I say, I've said it many times, it's so ridiculously English. Just everything about it. Like gates that you can't actually fit through, and trees just growing out of really random places, like in the middle of power lines. That's very normal in the English countryside, to just find a telegraph pole in the middle of a farmer's field. Pretty sure I can get through here. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Skills. I think I've got another batch of soybeans after this to sell. Or at least I've got 175,000 now. It's not enough to buy a bigger tractor. Oh, I forgot I've got that helper going. Let me just pull the tractor over. Oops. I don't think you get cars on this road. Oh, what a waste. He's been sitting there for ages. Where am I? What other fields do I own there? Oh, I've only done half a field. Let's set my way on the other half of this. Whoops. I'm in a tree. Go. Set a helper away. Sometimes the helper gets a bit confused if you've got like a diagonal. If basically if the field isn't square and it gets to that. Let me just hop out the tractor. Hello. If I you see this end bit here, because it's not at a right angle and it's at a funny angle, sometimes the helper gets a bit confused and they'll just kind of give up. Helper J is blocked by an object. I don't think you are. Seems alright. We'll check that he navigates this corner. Stop. See if he turns left or right. He's just swinging around. Don't get caught on that bush. Yeah, he's doing fine. He's doing grand. What am I doing? Selling this. Sandy Bay has an update due very soon. Yeah, I heard about that update. Because they're bringing like carrots and things into the game. I've heard that should be interesting. I know no idea how you harvest carrots. I have to say, I mean, it was my son who got us into Farming Simulator, but it's a ridiculously addictive game, and it's stupidly relaxing as well, and it's sufficiently interesting that you don't get bored. So you do have to think about like profits of your crops and where you're going to be putting your fields and how easy it is going to be to get like a combine harvester into a particular field and all this sort of stuff. So you do have to put some thought into it, but you can also just completely switch off and enter some sort of beta state in your brain. Is it a beta state where like where you just enter this ridiculously relaxed state, and find it gives me time to process all the other things that go on in modern life. How we're doing on the comments? Let me. I'm just gonna drive down and pick up this last batch of soybeans, and then I will catch up on the comments. As I say, I'm not very multitasky. Modded harvester for carrots and cabbage. Ah, there you go. So on this version of the game, on my first series, which is all on Ravenport map, I'm only using, I think, one mod on that game, and that is the auto-loading bale trailer. I'm also using a fence mod, but we haven't got to that bit yet. So I needed some fences basically, and then on this one we've limited ourselves to 5 mods. We've basically just fill that up. Go. So I've got the auto-loading bale trailer. I've got the GPS mod, follow me mod. The other two, there's another couple that we've got as well, but the Ford tractor over there, that's a mod, and there's one more that I've completely forgotten about. So we've limited ourselves to 5 mods on this one. On the Sandy Bay map that I'm on, that's kind of a more free open game where I'm installing anything. But because I know a lot of people are following along and playing at home who have never played the game before, I'm trying not to install too many mods because it can make it a little bit complicated, especially for people who perhaps you're playing on a different platform and you can't get the mod or something like that. So I am trying to keep it relatively mod free. But hopefully that Sandy Bay new version will fix that field that I've destroyed. If not, I'm gonna have to start the whole game again. You can see the 4-wheel steering on the trailer there, by the way. Yeah. Don't know if you can see it. Whoops! Thought I turn in the right direction. Can you see the wheels steering on the trailer? I think that's cool. Bit geeky. Go. I would have liked to have sold the soybeans for more. I've seen soybeans go as high as 2,000 before. So 1,600, it's okay. It's not great, but I'm gonna run out of money if I don't actually sell some stuff. Whoops. I hate driving in third person. I find it much easier in first person. Just running through a hedge. So I'm not sure if a couple of people were asking about my sticker door and what's happened to that. I put a thing on my Patreon all about it, but you might as well know if you haven't watched the Patreon thing and you're wondering what's happened to the sticker door. It would have been ridiculous to make a brand new door, and especially trying to make a door in a workshop that's now not a workshop would have been a little bit tricky. So what I've ended up doing, my assembly bench, my big main assembly bench that was on wheels, that needed to go a journey anyway, because I wanted, well, basically it would probably be too big for any workshop that I'm going to have in the future. And I would want an MFT top on it. So what I've done is I've taken that bench completely to bits, and the old top of the bench has become my new sticker door. And I've managed to get all the stickers off, with the exception of Samurai Carpenter's sticker, which I'm a bit gutted about because I paid quite a lot of money for that. But the Samurai Carpenter sticker unfortunately completely fell to bits. If anyone knows Jesse, please let him know that I need a new sticker. But yeah, unfortunately that's the only sticker that I lost, was the Samurai Carpenter one. And oh, my helper's done. But all the other stickers, I think there was a couple of stickers that got damaged, but luckily I had spares. If you do send me more than one sticker, I always keep the other ones just in case, because I'm a hoarder and completely OCD with that sort of stuff. Oh, what's going on? Oh, I've run out of seed. I have to go to the shop. Again, damn it. More seed, buy, yes. Where am I? Shops. There's no way there. Just kind of cut across these fields. I was wondering why he stopped. He stopped because he's run out of seed. I think what I'm going to do, because this is my first ever live stream, I don't want to be on forever. I'm going to pick this seed up, quickly finish off that field, and then we'll call it a day. But I'll definitely do this again if you guys are up for that. If you fancy another Andy Mac Farms live stream on Dad's farm. I'll pick this seed up. I can top the fertilizer up while I'm here. Pure DIY Maintenance said, have you ever crashed into a car or camper van? On the game, all those sort of things are just completely solid objects, and if you hit them you just come to a very abrupt stop. So yes, I've hit them many times. They don't move. They're like big lumps of concrete. There's no way I'm going to be able to reverse this while talking. Oops. Getting the seed, and the fertilizer's full, so I still can't get the rest of that pallet. Right. That field. So yeah, do let us know if you'd be up for joining us on another one of these live streams. It's been good fun. I've never done one before. Let us know if there's anything that I should be doing different, like if the audio's not working or anything like that. I need to check out. I did fiddle with a couple of settings earlier in the streaming software. What field was that on? Hold on, I'm lost. Is it this one? Yeah, this. Finish this one off. Hate leaving bits. The helpers are substantially less OCD than me. What are folks up to this evening? Let me know in the comments what you're doing this evening. I think we're doing pizzas and a family movie. I think. Not 100%. As I say, lockdown walk coming up. Actually get some fresh air. Oh, I've got a slow triangle. Do subscribe as well to my Andy Mac Drums channel. It's always good to have you on board as a subscriber. This channel, it was my first ever channel on YouTube. I've had this channel for like 9 years or something, and I hadn't uploaded anything to it for years, and I figured, well, rather than just letting it completely die a death, I might as well shove some of these farming simulator videos onto this channel. I am vaguely debating putting them onto their own dedicated channel, but that would then mean having potentially 5 or maybe 6 YouTube channels. That's getting like excessive, I think. So I think I'm just going to live with the farming simulator videos being on this channel for now, if that's alright. Right, that'll do. Okay, head round to... Is this my field? Yeah, this is mine. Head round here. I'm not going to start on this because you'll be bored silly watching me just plant fields forever. Quickly catch up on the comments. What have we got? Let me just try and scroll without cutting you off. Thomas has said, isn't this Daggerwind survival roleplay? Daggerwind's channel's awesome. I was very impressed with his channel. Cliff has a real tractor. Jody, the John Deere. What sort of John Deere, Cliff? No, I don't know my John Deere models particularly well. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me just switch the engine off on this. What else have we got? I don't think I've missed any of your comments, but if I have, I do apologise. You'll have to come back next time. Daggerwin, yeah, if anyone isn't familiar, Daggerwin has a great farming simulator channel, and I think he does his own kind of workshop and real life farming stuff to a degree. What else have we got? Corn silage is the best, and use a forage harvester and clamp it. Yeah, yeah. There's some, I mean, some of the big crops like potatoes and sugar beet, and I think sugar cane's supposed to be quite profitable. The trouble is that the equipment you need to harvest it is ridiculously expensive. So unless you've got really big fields, and quite a lot of really big fields, then it's not really worthwhile. But I need to try doing the corn silage. I've never tried doing that. What else have we got? Just waiting for to announce that this channel's sponsored by New Holland. Watch this space. Pure DIY maintenance. Your sticker is fine. I remember transferring it. Your sticker transferred over absolutely fine. So it's on my new sticker door, sticker bench version 2, ready to go up in the new workshop. I've just started using Instagram again from today, by the way. So I will post some stickers on there of the workshop dismantling them. I want to try and post stuff in a chronological order, so I've got quite a lot of... I had a bit of a break from Instagram. Let me just set this helper away here so you've got something to look at while I'm chatting. Is this going to work? How long have I been on? Oh, I'm over time. I'll get in trouble. Leave them to it. This helper might get confused at this top corner. We shall see. Change the economy to easy. Yeah, there's all sorts of things you can do, like changing the economy, doing the government subsidy mod, or just setting up a farm and giving yourself more money and stuff. I try to avoid doing that. For me, it takes away a little bit of the fun of the gameplay if you change the economy. I prefer to just survive with it being on normal. I think on having it on hard, the gameplay would be too slow. I find normal, the gameplay is just about right. But I know you can do things like changing the actual XML files, I think, and changing how much you can get for crops and all sorts, but I try to avoid that. It takes a little bit of the fun out of it for me. James has said, as long as you're off shift, then as long as I'm off shift, I'll be watching. Fantastic. The amount of fertiliser isn't going down. Did you turn the seeding machine on? I think it is going down. I think it's just going down slowly. I think, let me just check the map. Check it is fertilising. Yeah, it's turned it blue. It is fertilising, so it's fine. I think it's just going down really slowly. I think. Just name change this channel. Yeah, I could. The URL, I think I would be stuck with it being Andy Mac Drums as the channel URL, because at the minute it's youtube.com/AndyMacDrums. So it's not easy to change a channel URL. I could just change the name of the channel. Getting a little bit geeky about how YouTube works, but basically because this channel started off as a drum orientated channel, it only seems to be drum orientated people who YouTube is suggesting this channel to. Whether or not over time that'll change to a more generic audience or to more farming simulator type people, I don't know. Let me know in comments, like either on here or on videos, if you found Andy Mac Drums via farming simulator rather than being an existing subscriber or knowing about it via Gossip Handyman. But when I check my stats, my top performing videos are still ancient drumming related videos that I put together years and years ago. They're still my best performing. They're obviously the videos that YouTube's recommending to people. So sometimes the only way around that is to start a new channel, because YouTube just will never face the fact that this channel isn't just about drums. It's about pretend farming. On that note, Andy Mac Gaming, yeah, that had crossed my mind. I did change it briefly to just Andy Mac, but then it became tricky to tell people what channel to search for, and there's already quite a lot of channel's called just Andy Matt, I think. So I changed it back to Andy Matt Drums so that I could say just search for Andy Matt Drums and you'll find it. I don't know if that's a problem or not. It's something I'll have a think about. Anyway, Andrew has said the amount of fertiliser isn't going down. Did you turn the seeding machine on the other field? Which other? They all seem to be fertilising. I think it's fine. I think they're fertilising. Cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. It's been a genuine pleasure. I think it's worked. I'm not recording these, by the way. This is it. They're not going to stay on the channel. Not my first one, anyway. Not until I know vaguely what I'm doing. But keep an eye out. I'll let you know when the next one's happening. And in the meantime, please stay safe. Look after yourselves and your loved ones and everything else. And we'll be out of this before we know it. I don't even know how to stop the stream. Do I press this button? Bye!